Well, actually there are two clear objectives. The first is that I was invited to visit Rwanda, who is one of the member countries, a first mover of the Scaling Up Nutrition movement. One of the 65 member countries that have committed to prevent and end all forms of malnutrition by a multi-sectoral and a multi-stakeholder approach. The second one is that the AGRF Forum is this year focusing on food systems, and that is where the opportunity is, because transitioning agriculture in food systems means that there is an investment in healthy, diverse and nutritious food, the people side, that it is produced in a climate smart and resilient way, the planet side, and that the food value chain is creating decent incomes and jobs for young people, but for all people. So this is a smart way, especially in this crisis situation. It is focusing on the opportunity and it deserves all the support that it can get, and for that reason I'm happy to be here. Scaling Up Nutrition movement is a movement of people, of organizations, but driven by countries. 12 years ago there was a report of the Lancet that had two conclusions. One conclusion was global society. We will never be able to end hunger and malnutrition for two reasons. One is everybody has his or her own project and approach, and it's only timely, it's not a structural solution. The second one is that ending hunger and malnutrition is a matter of political will and leadership. If a government of a country doesn't take responsibility for driving the nutrition investment agenda, meaning investing in good food for physical development, for cognitive development, and for mental well-being, it will never be solved. And based on this conclusion, the Sun Movement was there to bring all these players and partners together and make them work together at the country level. Rwanda is actually one of the front runners when it comes to the fight on ending malnutrition. However, on stunting, Rwanda could do better and should do better. Now, the best way forward is to invest in adolescent girls and young women who are becoming pregnant or who are pregnant. If they are in a good nutritional status, if they have a good condition, they are able to deliver healthy babies. And that's the first start. The second start, and there Rwanda is performing very well, is exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months. And Rwanda is at a level of 89%. There is space to increase and improve because we're striving for 100%, because breastfeeding has all the things that are needed for baby's first resilience. And as we know, the first 1,000 days of a child are very decisive. So invest in adolescent girls and young women. First of all, I very much like the ambition of the government to reduce stunting till 10% by 2030. Given the current situation, it might be very ambitious, but I like the ambition and the leadership of the government. This is our goal, and this is why we are working together. And that's also the answer to the second question. The UN is doing quite well. We were impressed by the UN network for Sun here in this country. But more can be done to combine in a smart way agendas on food systems, on climate, but also on education, on health, etc. Making use of the same funding to reach and fulfill several objectives. And I think there the UN can do better. And I also think there is room for improvement of the different departments and the government to work together. And that will lead really to a way in which Rwanda will not only be a front runner in so many other developments, but also end up as a front or end up as one of the champions for nutrition, showing the way and leading the way in Africa as a whole. There are three things that I would like to mention. One is the capacity strengthening, because nutrition is not only a program, it needs to be included in legislation, in policy, and in institutions like research, etc. It needs to be part of the system. And for this reason, capacity strengthening of people who are responsible to do this is of immense importance. The second is technical assistance, because there is some technology, there is a lot of technology out there, but it needs to be connectable here in the country, for instance on food systems. Also food producers in the remote area need to be able to make use of modern technology. So for instance through solar power, etc. So technical assistance, but owned by the people that are working with it, and not making people dependent on technology that is provided by others. The final thing is that Rwanda needs to drive its own agenda, of course together and learning from other African countries. Rwanda doesn't need to continue to ask global partners, what can you deliver? But Rwandese government and partners, players, need to say, okay, this is what we can do ourselves, but we need support from you to do this. And then make sure that the global players do not offer what they have in their basket, but that they come with tailor-made responses and solutions that, as I said, can be owned by the people, the farmers, the nutritionists, the institutions and the country itself.